The Social Shift with Josy Nghipandua is a podcast platform that allows for every opinion to matter. However, views and opinions expressed by our guests are not necessarily those of the Social Shift podcast and team. Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I've always wanted to say that. Now, my name is Josy Nghipandua, and as you guys know, for the longest time, you guys have been begging me to do an official YouTube channel. Well, I've listened, put a team together, and here we are. The first mini-series from my YouTube channel is, of course, called The Social Shift, where we will be having no-holds-barred conversations regarding all things concerning the youth. I will be picking the brains of young Namibians who are doing amazing things and who are not afraid to tell the truth about exactly what the landscape is in terms of politics and education that affects the youth on a daily basis. Now remember, subscribe to my channel and make sure that you put your notifications on so you don't miss a single conversation. And for all of our conversations, we expect you guys to, of course, make your opinions known in the comment section. We have an episode dropping every Monday for the next 6 weeks, and I hope we go on this journey together and start a social shift amongst the youth when it comes to conversations that affect each and every one of us on a deep level. The Konrad Adenauer Stiftung is a German international political foundation with more than 100 offices worldwide. The KAS Namibia and Angola office, based in Windhoek, works to promote democracy, the rule of law, human rights, and political participation. Through educational initiatives and socio-political dialogue, it supports good governance and the strengthening of civic responsibility. KAS's work aims to foster freedom, justice, and sustainable development in Namibia and beyond. Now tonight, our first guests on our program are not other than Basten, Johannes, as well as Bomba, Shigwedha, who will be helping us to unpack the topic, the hidden truth about Namibian youth. Are they lazy, or are the systems working against the youth? Bomba, Basten, hello.
Hi, Josie.
Thank you guys for joining me. I know this was a lot. And also the topic is a lot because it requires for us to really dig deep and tell the truth about our peers. So we have a lot of friends who are going to watch this program and they're going to judge us, but it's fine. What we want is to tell the truth, and we also want the conversations to start in our own private spaces in the hope that we change our behaviors and we also start becoming very productive in the things that we do. Now, I want to start off with the first question, and this is to both of you. You can start with Basten and then Bomba second. When we hear the term lazy youth, what does that mean to you? Because we hear our parents, they say, oh, these kids are lazy. They don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. When we talk about lazy youth, what do you think, what does that mean for you actually?
Well, for me, specifically, I think there's nothing like lazy youth. Mm-hmm. I think it's more of a systematic thing. So our parents, when they talk about laziness, they are comparing us to their time.
Yeah.
We are not living in the same era. So, we have different challenges. We have different motivations. We have just different aspects on life. And life also isn't just the way it used to be. Mm-hmm. So for them, they used to walk in the field. They used to, hustle really hard for where they needed to be. Mm-hmm. Where for us, necessarily, it's not where we have to be. Because for us, life should be easier based on their work.
Yes, and also the access that we have.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that narrative comes from our parents wanting us to then be the people that are also then supporting them in their old age. Mm. And that takes us backwards because you keep paying black tax. Mm. And the young people will never get out of poverty if they keep paying black tax. Okay,
so we're not lazy. Bomba, what do you say? Because I know you are a hard worker. And as a business owner who employs so many people, you have a certain level of efficiency that you expect.
I think there's levels to being lazy. Before we call someone lazy, if you have nothing to do, how can you call someone lazy? Mm-hmm. So our youth, the majority, they don't have anything to do. So we can't call them lazy. The system is working against them. The few maybe that have, they're in position to do things and they're not doing it, we can call those ones lazy. But
yeah.
The lazy people are in parliament. These guys go to parliament and sleep. Mm-hmm. So the youth is not lazy.
And what are we saying about the social culture? Because, alcohol is one of those things we've been discussing for a very long time that is sort of disorienting the youth. And then the new one, Hubbly Bubbly, is also one of those that parents use as a ticket to sort of talk to youth and say, you guys are lazy, you're preoccupying yourself with the wrong things. our social scenes, do you think that adds to an element of not laziness but being unproductive amongst youth?
I think there's an element to it where the overconsumption of alcohol, because it's not necessarily the consumption of alcohol, it's the abuse thereof. And apart from just alcohol, most people abuse drugs, which is actually, for me, one of the biggest contributing factors to our youth decline in Namibia at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, there are locations now that are unrecognizable in this country. If you go to places like Komastal, Dolam, there's drug busts every other day. I mean, who is consuming these drugs? Who are they for? It's for our young people, obviously. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's the alcohol, because everyone has been taking alcohol. It's just the safe consumption thereof, if there's such a word, So yeah, I think it's more, there are other elements as well to the decay of our youth, which is not just alcohol.
And then Bomba, for you, because the topic is talking about tired youth, or the youth being tired, and we see it on social media a lot, where we are what the youth call the mentee B crisis. So everyone's having a mental health issue one way or the other, and now one then needs to wonder, is maybe the social scene contributing to how many mental health issues young people are having, that then later translates into laziness to our parents who don't understand the social youth, who are not familiar with how it is young people socialize nowadays?
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I drink a lot as well.
I'm glad you put it out there. Okay, I drink a lot responsibly.
Yeah. So, because I sell it as well, I sell alcohol. Our parents grew up in a different era.
Yeah.
And we are growing up in a different era. Our parents never had anyone to talk to. There were no therapists, maybe the headman, they would go talk to the headman. I feel our youth, the mental health issue somehow, it's overused.
Yeah.
Like everything that we are seeing or we are being faced with, we blame it on mental health. Personally, I can't drink when I'm stressed. Like alcohol just doesn't go down, And as a person, I don't think there's anyone that takes a gun to someone's head that
it says
you must consume.
Yeah.
And these consumers, alcohol is not free. Where does the money come from for them to buy the alcohol?
That was one of the questions that one of the elders asked one day. They said, how is it these kids are unemployed but they can afford to drink every day?
So this problem still goes back. I have 3 kids, and my kids were asking for allowance, monthly allowance. They go to school, like everything is paid for already. And I have a housekeeper that can clean the house. So I asked them, okay, should I stop paying the housekeeper and I give you the allowance, or you guys are going to clean the house? So even now, going back to the consuming of alcohol, this unemployed youth, where is the money coming from? Like, we should follow the problem where it's coming from, because I'm sure it's coming from the parents if they're not employed. So the problem is just not the youth itself. Like, we need to find where it's actually starting from. Because if you know that your child is in Windhoek, they don't work, but you're still sending the money, you are sending them money every time. You are paying their rent already on top of that. So you are sending them money for what exactly?
And that's a question that I think that's something that we don't talk about a lot, like parenting, how parenting affects the discipline level of a child.
Yeah.
And it's easy for society to come out and judge and say, oh no, you're not doing anything with your life, but we never investigate the support structures that are there behind the child to push the child to become productive. I want to move on to the systemic bottlenecks, right, that we have in society, the systems that are in place. For instance, if we look at the education system, is there a disconnect? Because we're supposed to be having free education, secondary and primary, right? And now we're moving towards a stage where there's free tertiary education. And yet if we look at our literacy rates, they're still quite low. If we look at our pass rates, they're still quite low. If we look at our financial literacy rate, how young people spend their money, it's still low. So where is that disconnect?
Should I go first?
Yeah, I think you can go first.
I think with the education system, there's a disconnect. Just the type of courses that we offer and the graduates, like the market is not there. Let's take a course like accounting and finance. Like, how many accountants do you find in a company? But every year there's thousands graduates. Where are these people going? Then we go to nursing. Every year there's 1,000 nursing, like people enrolling.
Even
like,
doctors.
even doctors, we need to find what we need, the graduates that we need, and the courses should accommodate that, not just offer courses, because where are these people going to work? I mean, how many doctors do we have that even go study abroad? We have a medicine school here.
Yeah.
And we still send other kids to go study abroad. So the market is overcrowded with graduates that don't have anywhere to go. So the system is there's a disconnect between the education and the intake, like where these people are supposed to go work. Personally, I don't want my kids to go to school to go work for someone. I want them to work for themselves. Hopefully come take over whatever I started.
Yeah, hopefully. That's the plan.
So I think also, just as a generation, maybe our generation, we need to stop doing what our parents were doing, just sending the child to school. I have 3 kids, a boy and 2 girls. I'm trying to see what these kids are good at, so I can direct them in those directions. Just because a lawyer earns more money, I'm not going to ask my son to
go and
become a
study
lawyer.
law, yeah.
So we need to know what our kids are good at and try to help them go in that direction.
Because a lot of the conversations, I work at the University of Namibia, and one of the issues that we have is after graduation or even before graduation, you'll find a student failing. Every year they are first year in another course. Yeah. And the parents will say, no, you are lazy. You just don't want to learn. As we went to school and we walked all of our parents walked 20 kilometers to go to school. I never understand it. But you find out that the child just does not have an interest of that specific course. They were forced to study. So it's not a case of laziness. It's also not enough career guidance in the home.
Yeah.
Basten, if we look at just the aspect of experience versus being able to be efficient in the workspace, that's also something that is attacking the youth a lot. Most job applications or advertisements now are asking for 10 years experience. But this is a 22-year-old child that just graduated UNAM, probably graduated cum laude. But because I don't have 10 years of working experience, I don't get hired. Where was I supposed to get the experience?
I think I'll give you a threefold answer.
Okay.
Starting from the one that Bomba just answered as well. When it comes to our education system, I think there's a huge disparity or a huge gap between what it is that we want to train our young people for and what exactly we are giving them on the ground. And also the fact that you cannot have one teacher with 35 students in a class or more.
Yeah.
What is this child going... There are some of us that are very fast at learning. When a teacher says something and we pick it up and we do a few courses, homework here and there, and we are good. But there are children that need specific help, and there's a lot more of those than the kids that just naturally pick up. So a child goes into grade 1, doesn't really get the fundamentals of what they're supposed to learn in grade 1, and then they are pushed to grade 2 because now you can't even fail. Then you are pushed to grade 2.
Yeah.
You don't even fully understand what's happening in the first grade where you were, and now you're already in the 3rd grade. So you are losing out so much information, and then these kids get to an age where they have now access to social media, where what they learn, where society is, as opposed to social media where society is, there's also another disconnect in between there. Because now we are teaching these kids that, no, you can make money from YouTube.
Yeah.
You can make money from TikTok. You can do this, you can, And then we don't have platforms like PayPal for these kids to get any monetary value from their content, So does it really make sense that we are now saying, okay, fine, you can... And I understand when you say the laziness, fine, if I can make money being lazy, then I will make the money. But now I don't have the platform. Because if I make all these videos and I have 20 million likes on TikTok, I don't make money from it as opposed to other countries. So, And then
shout out to the Ministry of Information. Hopefully
they come through.
They come through for social media content creators.
So we are exposing our children already at a young age to social media. And these kids, they tell you, if you ask my son what he wants to do, no, Dad, I want to become a coder. I want to create games. I want to create Minecraft and Roblox, and he wants to create his own stuff, which he can. But how do we get him to a level where if I, as a parent, don't put in the effort to take him to schools abroad so that he can actually become good at what he does and excel there? then how does Namibia cater to my child who has a special need that we cannot cater for in Namibia? And as Bomba said, we have teachers, doctors, nurses, lawyers. Every year, you are signing up kids to fail. And not only that, institutions are taking registration fees, knowing fully well they will not accept these children. And they are making millions. I mean, even in high schools, private high schools, they are making millions off from us from rejecting our children. I mean, what type of society are we creating when rejection makes someone rich?
So it's almost as if you guys are both saying there's no plan for education in this country.
No,
and
exactly.
and it's only the ones that can think outside of the box that can actually become successful.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears quickly, staying in the same theme. There's a word that has been haunting Namibian youth for the past 10 years, and we've been threatened with it for long. Entrepreneurship. Everybody is saying youth must become entrepreneurs. It's not the government's duty to create jobs. We must become entrepreneurs. But if we look at the systems in terms of funding, in terms of mentorship, in terms of understanding basic principles of running a business, where do we go wrong as a society? Because I feel like the blame right now is on a lot of youth. Look at the National Development Fund or the Youth Fund that was created now. How many young people went to stand in those lines? And then the results come out and they only took 3 per region. And there's so many ideas out there. So where's the problem? If youth have so many ideas, why are they not materializing into actual businesses that exist?
Well, I would say, first of all, an idea without the proper mentorship and the proper execution will always just be an idea. Even if you get the money, it will fail. It will just remain an idea. Because number one, we should learn to think about how do you create generational wealth. You only create generational wealth when you are solving a problem. So in Namibia, what problems are we solving? Because we all can't own bars, we all can't do construction,
or makeup.
We all can't have law firms, and
I love how you just skip the makeup. That's also an entrepreneur, Basten.
we all can do makeup. And I was, like I spoke with the guys earlier, I was with my son in Joburg yesterday, and the type of things that he was talking about, and says, oh, what if this was in Namibia? Oh, what if that was in Namibia? And I'm just like, actually, it makes sense, eh? Because in Namibia, we all want to do the same things.
Yes.
I mean, I will understand the population of SA to have 4 service stations in one street. Makes enough sense. You, Thomas from Oshakati, why are you opening a service station across Maria?
Shout out to Thomas from Oshakati. Please make your service.
So why are you starting a service station next to Maria where you already don't have a big piece of the pie and now you are sharing the little that is there? Instead of saying, Maria, I've got this amount of money, I feel we should start a truck pot that will make us more money. What if I invest this money in your business for 20% or whatever, and let's grow this thing? Now, because I see Maria has been making money and now Maria drives a Mac, I now also start a service station. Now, neither of us can drive a Mac anymore because we are competing for the same people. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So we are creating industries that are overlapping each other over and over because we call it legacy businesses. And that's another thing when you start going the oil route. Oil is also a legacy business. It's something that will not make Namibians money directly apart from taxes and from employment or whatever, which is fine, but it won't create any generational wealth for any Namibian because this is money that's constantly going out.
And it's meant to benefit the greater society, not just the individual entrepreneur.
Exactly.
Bomba?
I think Namibians ourselves, we don't like taking risk. Like when you see someone doing something, like we copy that because that person that started it took the risk already.
Yeah.
You know where they failed, where they didn't fail. And I mean, there's so many things. If you go to the north, the bars, the salons, and the service station now, it's a new trend. From Mondangwa to Oshakati, I don't know, there's close to 15 service stations.
and it's a radius of what, 30, 40 kilometers? It's not far apart.
It's not far apart. Then we come back now to window. I'll go into the entertainment industry. Like the amount of festivals we have now. And just the word festival, what they put together, it's not the festival, but we still just call it a festival. We have a problem of copy and paste. And that's why you find this child want to do medicine, this child want to become a lawyer because they know Kadira Momo, they know. But like he said, we don't create a business that solve problems. We just duplicate what is already there. I mean, if you go open a practice, you are a doctor, who are you going to cater to? There's already many practices. Maybe supply mask to this practice that is already there. We should add value to the business that are already there, which we are not doing.
Yeah.
Let me just give you a good example of something that I foresee coming.
Yeah.
If the ministry gets it right and they shift all the public officers, all the public workers to go for their medical stuff at the public institution.
Yeah.
Do you know how many doctors' practices are going to close down in this country?
Yeah. There will be a ripple effect, definitely.
And it will be massive
Yeah.
because if everybody, and I understand that now the public sector will have to hire more doctors and more nurses, which they should already by now. I don't understand why they have to wait until they don't have a choice. But I just feel like there will be a lot of, because there's a lot of people now only depending on payouts from the government, payouts from medical aids. Once this is taken up by the state itself, then it becomes a problem. That's why I always say we should, in Namibia, we have a problem where the state gets involved in the entrepreneurship industry. I have to say it's an industry. Because how can I as an entrepreneur be competing against an August 26, which is a Swapo-based company, which is a government-linked company.
Which is a giant.
Which is a giant.
Yeah.
When do I compete with August 26?
Yeah.
When do I compete with the Dinner Palmers? When do I compete with
Fabu Farm.
Fabu Farm?
Yeah.
So for me to come into an industry that is monopolized, you know, that's where we need to start looking at how do we get our young people into the industries that are monopolized. And until we open up these industries, until we can say you can create a power plant and generate and distribute, Nampa will tell you no. If I say I want to have my own water company that I distribute water, Namwater will tell you no. So where the money is, there's monopolies. You are not allowed into it. And I remember having a conversation with someone that said, yeah, but especially in the medical industry, the black guys are only entrepreneurs. They're only there to take. Which, yes, makes sense because, I mean, you have a warehouse with one employee and and you make...
Not the one employee.
And you make millions.
Yeah.
Which is not fair towards the companies that actually employ people. But then, if Bomba today starts a pharmaceutical company and obviously, I will call it a black and white market. If he doesn't have access to the white market to supply the Lady Boambas and the Rhino Parks, why don't you, other black pharmacists, then also go to Bomba and say, you know what, we will buy from you, we will help you grow, get to a point where we can all then take on the monopolies, you know? That's why I say we need to think a bit further because the industries, yes, there's corruption everywhere, but we should look at how do we go above and beyond to fix this country. And I think we also didn't answer your question about the experience in the workplace. So you get into the work environment, you are cum laude, as you said, and now you apply for a job and they tell you, no, we want 10 years experience.
Yeah.
10 years from where?
Exactly.
You know, and now we should change how companies we should force companies to actually start training up young people, you know. So if you have a company and you bring in a foreigner to run this company, then we will say that in the next 10 years, that person, in the next 5 years, that person should have an understudy that is Namibian.
Yes.
And in the next 10 years, that person should be taking over. So that is how we need to start, getting
prioritizing our youth. Yeah.
Our youth to get into positions to lead this country. Because now we keep hiring the same old people within you come from an ambassador, what to meet, go to what to do what.
Yes, and it's the same person.
You are recycling the same people over and over and over. And once you leave Midco, you go to another place, and the person who was where goes where. What happens to our young people? Where are they going to get the jobs? When are they going to become MDs and CEOs? You know, and then you hear, no, who is such a great managing director or a great CEO of whatever company, and you're just like, based on what?
Yes.
What have they done that is new? What new ideas are there? What have they brought into the institute as a part to just being? And you know, people now respect you more for just being on social media, being seen, because the previous guys weren't seen, they were not social. So you come in, you are social because you are the one taking the pictures.
And you can speak proper English.
Yeah.
Namibians are very impressed by proper English.
And they're like, yo, this MD or this CEO is the greatest. They have done nothing. They have gone into a position and done the work that the other people have done. They've just been more social.
Yeah,
You
true.
know? And then there's so many young people with ideas on how to transform this economy, how to transform certain companies that don't get this chance because they don't have the experience.
Yeah.
And now you find someone who's an accountant, chartered accountant, working as a bookkeeper or working as a cashier. And you know, for someone who spent that amount of money on education, to be earning 4,500, you cannot leave your parents' house because
4,500 is a luxury day. For
Yeah,
a lot of
it's
young
even a
people, it
luxury.
starts 1,500.
Yeah.
I remember my first salary was 1,500.
now imagine having a degree that costs you money, that costs your parents money. You need to live in your parents' house for that little salary, hoping that in the next 4 or 5 years you will get a position that is worth what you are qualified for, and you don't. Now you can't leave your parents' house. Your parents are calling you lazy. You are depressed. Now you're thinking of, you know what, this life is not worth it. What am I doing here?
Let me just kill myself. Yeah.
And that's where
So
a lot of
it's
these things come from.
cycle.
It's a cycle.
It's a very toxic cycle, and each point feeds itself. Bomba, based off of what it is Basten said, I want us to also talk about the competition that comes from home. Because I think a lot of the times our parents are in competition with one another's households and put undue pressure on their kids. And when the youth don't perform to the level that the parents expect them to perform in competition with their neighbor or their auntie's children, then they turn on the youth and say, oh no, but you're lazy, or you're just tired, or you're not productive enough. Let's talk about the toxicity of that competition within the household and amongst families.
I think that actually takes me back to where, as parents, we don't know our kids. Like you are basing your child on your neighbor's child. You are supposed to know the strength and the weakness of your own child. So you know where to help them and where to let them do their own thing. So I was very fortunate. I met my dad a bit late. Johannes, I was a teen. So I used to work with him. He was a plumber. He's still alive, but he doesn't work as he used to. So I didn't have weekends. My weekends, I used to go work with him. That's from grade 8, until grade 12.
Okay.
So as we are talking now, I can do plumbing work, like a house being built from scratch. I can put in everything. So it's the experience that I picked up from my dad. I was lucky. And this guy is not educated. He doesn't even have grade 10. You know, I guess imagine if he went to school now.
What he would have been
done.
able to do, yeah.
He taught himself how to write, how to speak Afrikaans, how to speak English. So as parents, we need to learn to know our own kids. So you don't compare your child to the neighbor's child, you know. And so when I was grade 11, I was dating this girl, a smart girl. So she went to study to become a lawyer. Because I was dating a smart girl, instead of going to VTC and just study plumbing, you know, pipe fitting and whatnot, I went to Polytech to do accounting and finance so I can fit in.
Oh, and you can also be together with the girl.
Yeah. So as parents, I think the problem starts there at home. When you know your child, you know where to direct them and not compare them to other kids. Because now, imagine your neighbor's child, it's a smarty. Your child is just hardworking. What's happening outside?
There's a lot. There's a lot of confusion, but it's fine. We're trying to find the sense in it. Bomba, I think one of the things, Basten, before we get to you, one of the most important things that you picked out is the lack of interest in the character of who the child is, because knowing who the child is will be able to inform you on how do I guide them academically, how do I guide them financially,
and
because
socially.
maybe your child, and even socially, maybe your child is just reckless with money by nature, and you need to pay more attention to how they spend money and understand money. Maybe your child is a practical child, not a theoretical child. So in the books they might not be strong, but to fix things and to build things they could. But because we don't know, and we come from a family of nurses, registration, the father will say, go and your mother was a nurse, your grandmother was a nurse, my mother was a nurse, you will become a nurse. Now we end up with a woman who does not like other people, who does not have empathy for sick people, and they're working in a hospital.
And that's what's happening now. Back then, most people used to go in trades as a calling, like nurses, teachers. Like these people love either teaching. Now people get into things because they want to get paid.
Also, because they didn't get enough points. So they make nursing and education the dumping ground for those who didn't get enough points. Yeah.
And just talking about it, when I was grade 12, I told myself, if I don't get enough points to go to Polytech, like to do accounting and finance, I'm going to do hospitality so I can become a chef. But also, talking about the chef, my mom sold kapana her whole life. So it's something also that I just love doing. I think if my parents were both educated, I would be fine.
But at least you got far enough without them being educated.
But I'm not where I want to be.
But you see...
But you are at an advantage. No, we need to have this conversation, but you're at an advantage because... Even with the little bit that you had and the little bit that you had access to at home, you were still able to create multiple businesses that employ multiple people that feed your kids. You and let's not be coy. If you want to take your family to Cape Town right now, you can afford it. So you are doing better than 70% of youth out there.
But that's the thing. I wish there were maybe 100,000 people doing exactly as I'm doing well. So in different fields.
Yeah.
You know. As much as I'm doing okay, like I wish other people were doing as I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, then we won't have this problem. Imagine just going back to the funding that the government is doing. My take is the reason there's less application approved, most of the stuff are copy and paste. Because that's the culture that we have here. We don't have original ideas. Like we always just duplicate stuff.
We even have people duplicating business plans.
Yes.
If you are a consultant, and all of you consultants, to simply have a PDF or Word document that you just change a few things and hand out, that is not a business plan.
Yeah.
That is, you are a fraud. You are a fraud.
And that's where the element of laziness does come in, because it's leading me to my next question. Yes, there are all these factors: education, parents, finance. But let's be honest, guys. There is an element of laziness that exists amongst our youth. What we choose to spend our time with sometimes. We make horrible decisions. Even in terms of looking at how many conventions are happening, how many conferences are happening, how many mentorship programs are opening, and you look at the amount of young people that actually apply to be a part of it. Sometimes it'll baffle you because we are the same group that cries for opportunity. And then when the opportunity is there, we don't get it. So let us discuss the actual laziness that does exist amongst us.
Okay.
You find a young, brilliant man, passed well, but man, this must lekker here in the street. Yeah, I'm just going to go to studio and have a drink. And then it's Monday, and then Tuesday I need to have a drink also because Monday it was tough. Then Wednesday I need to have a drink also because your Tuesday was tough. Then Wednesday, it's ladies' night, right? Thursday, it's almost weekend. Friday, the Naviek is here. Saturday, we are chilling. Sunday, Babi and Kawash. And so you do have a lot of young people that are also in that loop of being in social spaces and socializing and not prioritizing their work. Also in terms of women, let's just be honest. We have a lot of young women who are selling themselves on social media because Namibian youth sometimes have this trend of wanting the easy way out. I don't want to go through the long process. I don't want to do the hard work. I don't want to start a business and have it fail and start again and have it fail before I make my first 100,000. I saw Basten is driving a Mercedes-Benz. He's an entrepreneur. So I will do exactly what Basten is doing so I can get the money. But because Basten never showed his story, we don't know exactly what it is that it takes to run a successful business. So there is an element of maybe not laziness, but perhaps carelessness and ill discipline that does exist amongst youth. And we have to talk about it.
I think, let me go first. This laziness still just started at home.
Yeah.
How a person was raised.
Yeah.
You know, I go to the north with my kids. And I have nephews and nieces, like my sister's kids at home. They stay with my mom. And the kids in the north, they wake up before the sun is even up. My kids, I need to go wake them up.
Yes, because Daddy, what do you mean? The sun isn't out.
So this laziness in the generation that we are facing now, the youth, it still started at home.
Yeah.
How a person was raised. There's so many things that we are allowed because we want our kids to have it easier than how we had it. And before we even started shooting, we were having a conversation with the team. And I was telling them, I wish my kids could experience what I've experienced. Because we are busy raising disabled people. They're able, but they're disabled. Like they can't think for themselves.
Yes, they can't think for themselves. What do they call it? They call it soft.
In their social media
Yeah, we have a lot of soft young people now.
So this whole laziness too just started home, honestly.
Yeah.
Like we, the young parents, now we need to do better than our parents did. Not just giving our kids what they need, what they want, but be a bit tough.
How do we do that though? If we're going to change the conversation into a constructive conversation now, how do it? I'm a young parent, like I'm a mother of a 2-year-old. I only know parenting from how I was raised. My mother whooped my ass. And it wasn't abuse, I survived, guys. I'm fine. I'm fine. But there was discipline in the household. So we grew up knowing there are certain things I cannot say. There are certain ways I cannot talk to elders. But it's also about Sunday, your uniform must be washed. You must wash all 5 white shirts. You can't just wash the one shirt every morning. Things like that. And these kids now have rights. And they will tell you that the Constitution says corporal punishment isn't allowed. So how do we raise children to be disciplined and also go above and beyond to be productive now?
I can go first here, Josy. Okay, let me start with primary school, eh?
Yeah.
So, and like you said, all of these things are connected. If you look at when we were in primary school, I could choose whether I wanted to do home ecology, craft, and technology. I could choose the fields where I felt I was comfortable doing, where I was best. So, for some reason, I was better at the home ecology stuff. So I was always meant to be a stay-at-home husband.
Stay-at-home husband, not the knitting.
So I was a good knitter because my mom was a tailor. So just like for me, I connected more to that, you know, the making clothes, the knitting, the what. So I connected more to that aspect of how do I put it? To that environment, to that technology, where the other boys obviously were doing craft and technology. As we were cooking, they were creating things.
Yeah.
And then I think at grade 7 or so, my focus changed.
Yeah.
Because then I started realizing, you know what, I'm actually very good with my hands and I love to fix electrical things. I was probably shocked 8 times by the time I was 14 years old. Because I love to fix electrical things. I didn't even understand what I was doing, but I learned the science of it by myself. That, you know what, this doesn't, if you do this, it shocks you. If you do what. So by the time I went to go finish grade 12, even though I did E1, which was science, I was like, I actually want to go in the electrical field.
Yeah.
But then I felt, you know what, my parents don't have enough money to send me to university. So I decided to do the most easiest thing. And I said, I'm going to go to NEM. And if I feel I want to do more, I'm going to go study later after I've already made the money. So I went to NEM. I studied to be a millwright, which is electrical mechanical. And I finished. And, you know, a lot of, and it's a thing that started already at that time, 2006. A lot of students, when we were together, were like, I want to go to the mine, there's more money there. And everybody was chasing the money.
Yeah.
And I used to say, I don't want to do mines. I want to go to the smaller companies so I can learn more, so I can have more experience. And I always used to say, the money will come. So I did the small companies, earning 1,500 when I'm.
Oh no, we all started.
While I'm as an apprentice, and I did the small companies. Go back to school, study. Go back to another small company, learn this. I think the last year was the only year where I actually went to Hangana, which is an actual big industry, because I wanted to now really learn how do you know what changes can I make in the industry.
What those decisions that you made, were they affected by your parents' opinions, or were these thoughts that you just had by yourself? Because the ultimate question obviously is how to support, and I think it's important that you're talking about, you know, the plan that you've had for your life, but you were able to think that far in your life because of how you grew up, the circumstances you grew up around. But now if let's be honest, we're looking at a young boy. We have a lot of single mother households. Unfortunately, that is the reality.
And that's where I'm going at now.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going at now with this conversation. Now, okay, I stopped by, when I went to third year, what years, okay, where I went to go learn actual industrial machinery and things. So, the one thing that I've always had as a child, you know, yes, I had both parents. My father was my father.
Yes.
He was there. He was, you know, a present dad who's not present. I don't understand how to put it. But I grew up in a household where we had an identity. And that's one thing Namibia is missing. It's an identity. Because we went from, we are a Christian country to a secular country. And ever since we changed to being a secular country, the amount of changes and suicides and things that have crept into this nation because we have let go of religion even in schools is immense. I mean, look at the statistics of, just go back and look at when did Namibia become a secular country.
Yeah.
And then you see when the problems in Namibia started.
Yeah.
Because we have lost our identity. And when we lose a national identity, we start losing on a personal level the identity. I mean, you said you were beaten. Well, you don't beat your kids today. It's just like, nah, that's
Wait, are you asking or are you telling me?
No, I'm just saying, not you specifically. I mean, you look like you can put a spanking on a baby.
Look, I mean, I love my daughter to death, but I think some things you can only learn by being corrected properly. Yeah, the way a Vambu mother would.
You know, that's something, that's when you spoke about, that people that are lazy, that just go out and drink and there's a party after party after party.
Yeah.
I was that person. The only difference was I was making money.
So you could sustain.
I could sustain my partying. But while I was doing that, I was losing track of building generational wealth for my children.
Yeah.
And by the time I woke up to like, yo, what am I doing? It was almost very late.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't drink now, obviously.
We thank God.
You know, it can only be God, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't touch alcohol at all. I'm not tempted. I have no desire for alcohol.
And you don't judge the Bomba and I who
don't
do.
at all.
Yeah, drink a beer once in a while. Yeah,
Mine
like
is just
we're gonna do after this episode. Listen.
So when I say we lost that identity, it has now crept into the homes where the parents are scared to take action and people are scared to speak up about certain things. And then there's also the stigma of, you are weak, why are you depressed as a man? What as a man, why are you crying? As a man, why are you what? You know, these things also play a huge role in how children grow up, especially the boy child.
Yeah.
So if I grow up thinking, I can't actually say anything, I can't talk about my feelings. If I just tell my friends what they're like, so gay.
Yeah. Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
You are gay.
So it becomes an issue where we are suppressing feelings. And you know, when you suppress things long enough, it's going to explode at a point.
Yeah.
And we are now at a point where people are starting to explode.
Yeah.
People can no longer handle the pressure. They were not built like us. We could take pressure.
Yeah, buffalo soldiers.
Yeah, and we had an identity, whether it was based on Christianity or whatever. You had an identity in your home. You are a godly child, or you are a swapo child, or you are beaten. You know, there was an identity of this is how we do things in this house. Nowadays, there is nothing. Children are doing whatever they want.
And
the parents are not
copying
home.
What is on
the fathers
social
are missing.
media.
Yeah.
I think the social media aspect is also a very important one because there is a lack of influence at home.
Yeah.
They are seeking leadership in public spaces and on social
attention.
media. Yeah, and attention and validation. And so it looks like they don't care or they are lazy, but in actual fact, I think young people are just desperate to be validated and cared for and guided and to be seen. And because the home is your protective base. That is your first place where you're supposed to feel protected. And because that's not there, you're looking for it in the world. And sadly, the worst judgment also comes from home.
And that's the thing. In the world, on social media, it is a temporary thing. It's dopamine. It's a moment. It's a temporary thing that you keep seeking.
Yeah.
And then you lose yourself because you are constantly trying to prove to people you don't know that you are living a life you don't live and have things you don't have. You know? So that pressure will catch up to you one day, and then you're going to sit there and like, what have I done with my life?
Yeah. And then by then it might just be too late.
It might be too late.
Bomba, as a parent, especially like Basten said, for the boy child, I think we have a lot of conversations about how, girl children are raised to be independent. They're also raised to work very hard and be hygienic and pursue education. We hardly have conversations about raising the boy child and how we can set them up for success in their foundation. So as an adult, they are not accused of being lazy. What can the now generation of parents do differently for the boy child? Especially because the suicide rates are really high. And so this is a problem that we actually need to worry about.
Just be a bit tougher on them. Not beating them.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because Kwambi father will hear tougher and they'll be like, oh, okay, slandom.
So my son is the youngest. He turned 7 in August. So every time I go to the north, I try to go with him. And he's a special child. He's autistic. So I try to put him in an environment where I know he's safe, but he's learning something that I can't teach him.
Yes.
You know, where there's other boys and he can pick up other stuff. Because your own child, and I keep telling people, until you have a child, you never really know how to love the next person. You know, and when you love that person, at times you become blind on certain stuff that you are supposed to teach them. You let it slide because this is your, you know, your diamond.
Yeah.
And before you know it, this person is 18, and you've been treating them, come here, come here. You know,
A baby.
and the world is not like that. You know, I tell most friends, my friends, they know, like when I go to bed, I'm honestly okay if I don't wake up. You know, I think I've done enough with my life. So I try to prepare my kids for the world that I'm not in. No one living this earth is here to live forever. So if we are going to treat our kids like we are going to be here every day, trust me, those kids are going to be, they are going to suffer. Be it a boy, be it a girl.
That's one thing that my grandmother told me when I gave birth. She said, you're not raising your child for yourself.
Yeah.
You're raising your child for the world in case you die while they are
So
young.
every now and
Even in
then,
case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some of us, I mean, I lost my mom when I was 10, so it can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So-
excuse the flies, guys. They also want to be a part of the conversation.
so every now and then, we need to be just a bit tough on our kids.
Yeah.
Like find what they love, remove that every once in a while,
Yes.
just to put them in their
Yeah.
place.
But you see now, like Bomba said, and that's what I'm talking about. There's an identity in his home.
They know what the principle in the
Yeah.
Shigwedha household is.
Exactly.
This is how things are done. This is what we present. But also,
Yeah.
this is the kind of adult my father and my mother want me to become. Yeah.
Exactly.
And because I seek the validation of my parents, I will strive to become that parent.
Exactly.
But if you're in a household where your father is a gambler and your mother is a chronic alcoholic, it's very difficult for you now to also have something to aspire to. And then that laziness and unproductivity then comes creeping in. Not because you are lazy, but just because you don't know what to do with your life. There's no guidance.
But like I always say, sometimes you must also, we are raised by a community.
Yeah.
You know, you can never in isolation raise your children. You're lying to yourself. Your child is a product of the community, and that community is based on where you or who you introduce your kids to, who you put them around, what schools you take them to, who they get to meet.
Yeah.
That is the community and the environment from which they also learn.
Yeah.
So it is very important that if parents do not take a role in the home, especially the father, if a father is not leading the home, then the devil is.
Yes.
Because somebody has to lead that home. So if it's not you, it's not God, then it's the devil. And whatever you are not teaching your children, the world is teaching them. And because you are not telling them what is right, what is wrong, we do this in this house, we take this direction, because there's no direction in the home. The kids will follow whatever direction they get from the streets. And if they can relate to anything slightly relatable to them, that's what they will do. I mean, there was an example. There's always this example of two brothers that grew up with a drunkard of a father who was abusive. And one became a very successful man and the other one didn't. And he always blames his father. No, it's my father, it's my father. So one day they were interviewed and they were asked, what did you pick up, or what made you who you are? How did you get to where you are? How did you become so successful?
Yeah.
And you, how are you just like, your brother is the successful guy and you just became nothing, you're a drunkard, you're a drug addict. And the guy said, no, it's my father. My father was ABC, my father was what. And the other one said, you know what? I saw what my father was and I really didn't want to be that person. So I had to work to get out of it, So the environment that you grow up in, and if your father, and I know we have very strong mothers that really, really do their best. And I think we are now really a lot of us are being led, or this world is being led by women who are trying to make a difference because
Yes.
the men are missing.
Yes.
Even at church, when I go to church, the men are missing, So what country are we running when men are missing? So it's a female-based world or country, and the women are emotional beings. A woman can do the things that a man can do, but she's not designed to. She's not supposed to. Now we are forcing women to man up, and our male kids are softening up. They are becoming female. They are becoming female. They're becoming very emotionally.
Pause. Views and opinions expressed by Basten are not necessarily those of the social shift.
But
No,
Ned,
but you're
but
right,
you can see
yeah.
the trend. You can see the trend.
Yeah.
I mean, you find mothers dressing up a 6-year-old boy in a dress. Oh, you're such a cute princess. What are you doing?
He wants to be a princess.
You are making your child a princess. What are you doing? Like, no, it doesn't work like that. And
Yeah.
if the father is missing, if the father was in the house, That will never happen. That kid will be outside being tickled playing American football or they're playing soccer.
And also learning the power of his strength, because I think one of the things that societies do a lot is we like to celebrate the softness of the woman, but we don't like to also build the strength of the men constructively. And that's why the strength of men now is showing up in violence and all these other things, because they don't know how to constructively showcase their strength.
You don't know how to be masculine without being violent.
Yes.
That's where it comes from.
Now, we have, of course, been talking for a minute, and we could go on and on. But I would like to end this conversation off in a very constructive note. And Bomba, I'm going to start with you. There is a young person who's going to watch this episode, and they might feel like perhaps maybe I was being lazy for a couple of years, but I want to change my life now because I've been inspired by the conversation that the two of you had. There could be someone who's also sitting at home. They've done everything right, but the system is just not working for them. Whether it's employment, whether it's in terms of funding, whether it's even in terms of the social spaces, what would your constructive advice be to them? What are some of those things, and Basten, you can answer next, that they should focus on in order to turn their life into a productive one? Because it's never too late. Like you, it was never too late for you to just stop the nonsense and turn your life around, because it's nice on the other side when you are productive and you're doing what you need to do, and you're also focusing on creating a legacy and generational wealth.
I think we need to stopping using the same formula, hoping for different results. Because we keep repeating the same things over and over, hoping that the results will be different. Like if you are doing something and it's not working out, change the formula.
Yeah.
I can't remember when last I actually did plumbing work, but that's how I used to survive. Over and over, hoping, but it wasn't different. I was surviving hand to mouth. I wasn't making any extra to save or anything. So I changed the formula. I went into another direction. I got into entertainment. I don't even know how to survive, honestly.
But we are happy you're here. You've given us some good memories.
So the best thing, if you are doing something and you are not seeing results, change the formula. And honestly, there is no universal formula for everyone. What worked for me might not work for you. So let's also stop looking a lot outside. Look within yourself. Try something on your own. Not because I did something or Josy tried this, I must also go try it. It might not work for you. So we need to break away from looking a lot outside. Look within yourself. And talk to God. Try something on your own. Not always listen.
Because that's a basis upon which you can build a whole lot. Basten, final words.
We need to break away from
last, because that's what I base my household on. I'm always very adamant that me and my house, we will serve the Lord. But from my perspective, I just feel like we shouldn't always expect other people to do things for us. Like I explained earlier on that I had a 6-7 year plan while I was already in school, and I said, you know what, I want to do this because by this time I want to be where, and it paid off. It doesn't always pay off for everyone because we have different directions, different passions. But I just feel like we should also stop, or our youth should stop comparing themselves to what they see on social media. Social media is a lie. Most people are not that successful in their life. Now you want to be that successful, so you will never ever feel like what you are doing now is good enough, because we are all about the fast life, the fast money. And I'm telling you now, nothing that makes you money fast will keep you in this world. You'll be in jail. That's basically.
And we've seen a lot of people in jail.
Fast money is dangerous.
Recently.
So we should learn to fail in the industries that we are passionate about. And we should learn to get up, because I failed so many times to get to where I am now, where I feel like there's nothing success taught me in my life. Success made me a drunkard. There is nothing success taught me in my life. Failure taught me everything that I needed to know about life. It brought me to where I am today, where now I know that there is nothing you can throw on my side
that I can't handle.
that I can't handle, that will bring me down. Because I have failed so many times. I know how to skip these hurdles. I know how to get to where I need to be, and it's like second nature. I don't think about it anymore. I just act, because I have failed to a point where I can't fail anymore. So basically that's what I.
And being able to get up and drive again. Basten, Bomba, thank you very much for joining me on the first episode. You guys have contributed greatly into my journey as a YouTuber. But I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you everyone for watching. Remember, the Social Shift drops every Monday, and you should of course subscribe to my YouTube channel, Queen of Speech, where we will be engaging on one or the other topic that is concerning the youth of that is a topic of importance. Now, I would just like to remind all of you that this would have not been possible if it wasn't for the Konrad Adenauer Foundation. And so we thank them for supporting the youth of Namibia in their endeavor, and of course making sure that we start having constructive conversation and that we ensure the social shift amongst the youth starts to happen. I'm Josy Nghipandua, and until next week, I shall see you again with another topic where we unpack politics and whether political parties are failing the youth or not. Bye-bye. Yeah.